constantly blow up my comments to say, if you want to see good coverage on the Duggars, go watch this other channel. Just leave my feed alone. You know I don't like the girl. You know I don't like her channel. If you guys want to watch her, that's fine. My opinion about her hasn't changed. She's not going to have the same kind of coverage I do. I'm not trying to be a legal expert. What I do know a lot about is this cult. And I'm not picking on this. I'm not picking this topic because I'm doing it for trending topics or for purposes. I started covering this cult when I literally made no money. Like, you don't have to just, like, Emily Baker stands, get the fuck out of my feed. Nobody gives a shit. She's a lawyer. She's covering the case. Great. Wow. She also covered my case and she got it all wrong and told y'all I was going to jail and I never fucking went to jail. She also told y'all that I was a criminal destroying evidence, which wasn't true. Woman who goes into opportunities and exploits things for her own personal gain. See, and there's a stand right there. That's not true, Katie. They will defend everything that bitch does. I don't like her. And there's a stand right there. That's not true, Katie. They will defend everything that bitch does.
So, you know, I feel like I've been very clear with Emily that what she's involving herself in is not good. And I'm not trying to threaten her, but I feel like she's been laughing at me this whole time. And I don't think she realizes that, like, everything she's doing is being watched because what she's doing is contributing to a lot of this biased hysteria. And it's been insane to navigate. And I don't dislike her. I don't know if she knows that she's contributing to it. I don't know if she realizes. I don't know if she cares. But the way that she covers the case is very biased, and it's very clear because of the communication that happens between the two of them on Twitter constantly. Mistakes that we make are highlighted. Mistakes that they make are diminished or reduced. She'll spend hours and hours and hours picking apart things that my attorney does wrong and then completely glosses over behavior that's happening on the other side that's completely unethical or immoral or harassment. And it's, you know, it's not okay. And if you want to be a part of that team, it's like you're also amplifying yourself and putting yourself in the middle of a legal case. And do you really want to be in a legal case? Emily needs to wake the fuck up. And if Emily continues to be a part of this harassment, I don't understand that she doesn't realize that she could end up in a countersuit. I don't understand how she doesn't realize that the behavior in which she's doing could have her end up being countersued for defamation. Like, I don't understand how she thinks that she doesn't get that, or that she's conspiring, or that she's doing something, right? Like, how many videos has she made in my name that spread defamatory things about me? This will not probably be the only time Emily ends up in a brief, or because of the extent of her involvement, I believe, in all of this. And if she wants to laugh at me for not listening or for, you know, not listening to cease and desists, she's not listening to me either, that her behavior online is watched, right? Like, just like they're watching me, I see who she's talking to. I see what they're saying. Like, I see the interactions. It's so obvious. This is like, they're biased. It's set up to promote a narrative. It's all to defame me. And yeah, Emily's being very hypocritical. So Emily, I'm being honest, like, girl, please think about what you're doing. Please.
Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you are in the world. This is something else that I am behind on, and I'm referring to last week Friday when Katie Joy decided to unleash and express her feelings about Emily D. Baker. Before I get into that, my usual disclaimer. Please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. I made a video last week sharing with you guys how Emily addressed and spoke about, without a crystal ball, Katie Joy. Well. On Friday night, I assume after a few alcoholic beverages, she went on her Instagram and Facebook and unleashed. It is no secret that Katie Joy despises Emily D. Baker because with the defamation case with Tati was going on, Emily was covering it. And Emily did not respond to Katie Joy about contacting her lawyer for a comment, and she never let that go. And to top things off, Emily was in correspondence with Michael Salz, who is Tati Westbrook's lawyer, and he was very active on Twitter, and obviously they would respond to each other's tweets, so would other people, and that did not sit well with Katie Joy. She even made mention of how they can see what they are doing and they've been watched and all that bullshit. Then things got quite out of hand. Somebody was trying to hack Michael Salz's email, and the recovery email was Katie Joy's without a crystal ball email. Then Michael Salz tried to inform Katie Joy's attorney, Michael Brown, and he was not quite that interested, or didn't seem to be quite that interested, and then things went, as Emily D. Baker said, went bananas. Katie Joy's side filed sanctions against Michael Salz, and then Emily was listed in the filings, and Katie Joy went on this mission trying to prove that Emily and Michael Salz was working in tandem against her. It truly was wild. Also, let me remind you, there were 2 other LawTube attorneys covering Without a Crystal Ball's defamation case, and it was Uncivil Law and Nate the Lawyer, who Katie Joy had no problem with them at all. She not one time said anything negative about them and how they were covering her lawsuit. She complained that Emily was being unfair and that whatever her attorney did wrong, it was always put under a microscope. But if Michael Salz did anything wrong, it was overlooked. Now let me just add, Katie Joy's attorney was getting a lot of things wrong, but also I do believe, which Katie Joy eventually admitted, that she was filing or writing out her own motions. Now, let's move on to all her postings she made on Friday night. The first one states, full stop. If you mention Emily D. Baker on my platform, I will block you. She got my entire lawsuit wrong, led to bullying, swatting, and harassment against my family, and built her channel off hating me. She got my lawsuit wrong, and my family is still traumatized by her coverage. Emily D. Baker harassed and bullied me. Her channel was nothing before she covered Tati Westbrook's lawsuit against me. She got everything wrong. She participated in group chats and groups dedicated to harassing and exposing me. She never corrected her false allegations against me. I was swatted and stalked due to her coverage. She has never apologized for getting it all wrong. The case was dismissed, no defamation on my part. Everything claimed against me false. His attorney went on record and said, I never did anything they claimed I did. My son was used in images of CP via Photoshop by a woman in the UK. The sheriff's office in my county still has notices in their system that my family is a victim of swatting. The Wright County Sheriff has been incredible and helped my family from the chaos Emily D. Baker put into my life. Wow. Despite that harassment, she mocked and harassed me. She refused to speak to my lawyers for a comment. You need to get over that, Katie Joy. Don't you ever mention her name here, period. She is trash. She has no remorse and enjoys going after women. Wow. To my knowledge, and if I remember correctly, Emily D. Baker did grow, not that much, when she was covering the Tati defamation case. Yet, and I'm sure others will correct me, because when Emily covered the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial, that was when she was skyrocketing. I told you so many times, Katie Joy, you don't have it. You are not that at all. I would love to know how and why she feels Emily got her lawsuit wrong. Katie is also mad that she couldn't manipulate Emily. The only one that needs to apologize is you, Katie Joy. I'll scratch that. She already did apologize to Emily and others, but then retracted the apology and continued to badmouth and speak ill of Emily D. Baker.
I have absolutely gotten frustrated at creators when I've seen them become weaponized against me by this group, including Emily Baker, Creepshow Art, Nick Snyder, Dustin Daly, Angelica Oles, Keemstar, Tipster, Augie, to name a few. To these creators, I'm sorry if I said things while under attack that may have been upsetting to you. I am sorry that I hurt your feelings. Few creators I want to just call out or apologize to personally. Emily, while I understand you have interest in this case, I just want to state that I have not responded to the allegations. At this point, there is literally no evidence that has been provided to suggest that I've done any trolling or stalked anyone. I am sorry for calling you out last night, but I do have valid criticism for how you are reporting this case, which is, I believe you are seemingly coming off biased by having an open dialogue with one side while refusing to know anything from the other side. Under the law, I am innocent until proven guilty. Please realize that as your channel grows, your commentary is impacting people's belief of my guilt without evidence. To date, you have not spoken to my engaged with anyone on this side, nor know anything that has happened behind the scenes between the lawyers. Listening to your criticism. If you have valid criticism that is not based upon false and defamatory statements by this troll group, please bring it to me.
The case was settled, Katie Joy, S-E-T-T-L-E-D. Remember, because you gave up your source, Clark Swanson, and now you are a witness for the Westbrooks, and you lost a channel, had to remove videos about the Westbrooks, and threw away thousands of dollars because of your own stupidity. But if delusion works for you, then have at it. And where did Michael Sauls go on record saying that you never did anything they claimed you did? Was it in your dreams? Because I've never come across it. The only thing that I have come across Michael Sauls is actually warning Steve McRae about Nat trying to set him up. That's the only thing I remember. In regard to her accusing Emily D. Baker of bullying, harassing, and swatting, since when? Because back then she was blaming or putting this on a totally different group of people.
This is why you see me get so upset in my Instagrams, because they create these accounts, my stalkers do, and then they accuse me of doing things. And then they make me look crazy by doing it. But she used all of these as sources and basically started interacting with them. And then she started going from creator to creator to creator to like spread this information. So she was the first one to create all the stuff where she like accused me of calling this girl a brat. I have repeated this story so many times. I was in a chat, I was reading a comment where the person said that, and then I responded to their comment. I should not have read their comment out loud. I should have just responded to the question. But I also spoke to the girl's mom like days later and apologized directly to her. And the woman and the mom literally like said it wasn't a big deal. So the mother forgave me in the situation. So for people that are asking me to quit my job, my YouTube paycheck is not small at all. This is a very healthy channel that makes good money. And my mental health is actually very fine. And I want you to know, like, I'm not like emotionally upset by these threats because I get them so frequently. I don't get scared by them anymore. I know the FBI is investigating. I know that my attorney is working on this. I know that the opposing counsel from my lawsuit is working on this. So everything is in the right hands. I'm not personally scared because to me, I believe these are just emails created to make me feel scared. We have a security system. We have cameras. I'm not concerned about my safety. So my reason for sharing this was not, I'm trying to steal this from Emily. This was something that was going on in tandem to what Emily was going through. And I only brought up in relation to Creepshow because she became associated with these people. She used them as a source. And when I called her out, literally called her out, I said, you used a group of people that have doxed, harassed, stalked me, that have called the police on me, that have swatted me, that have called CPS on me. You're using them as a source. You're giving them credibility and validity. And once she made her video with all of the stuff in it, that's when every channel copied the same claims. People say it had to do with the lawsuit. It didn't, because what she had in her video was very minimal to the lawsuit. It was more like things she didn't like about me that the stalkers gave to her. With Emily Baker's coverage, she wasn't using this kind of stuff. It wasn't the same way. Like Emily's stuff was harmful to me, but Emily Baker wasn't trolling. Like I may not have agreed with Emily Baker and how she covered me, but Emily Baker was not using sources of trolls for information. She wasn't. The police showed up at my house 3 times, I think, during the, well, I wouldn't say swatted. I don't know if it's swatting or what you would call it. Like, okay, it wasn't swatting. I don't know what you would call it. We had 3 officers here in 2 cars, and I live in a small community. Can you please forgive me? I am so emotionally drained right now. Can you please forgive me for saying the wrong thing? Either way, there was police at my house for false reports. And a police shows up at your house for accusations of abuse and neglect, and so they say that you're going to be harmed. That can lead to a lot of different things, no matter if it's a SWAT team or if it's 4 officers or 3 officers. So if you're worried about the semantics of it, I apologize. It wasn't swatting. It was 3 officers that showed up. Anyways, someone filed a 7-page report, pushed me to the point of feeling suicidal. My stalkers are the ones that got me to that point. And then my stalkers, because they know my address, called the cops. They admitted to doing it. No reason to do a welfare check that night because I have a husband that's in this house with me. There's another adult here all the time. There's no, if I would have needed to go somewhere, he would have taken me, right? So the reason they pushed me to that point, they knew it was because of what they were doing. And then when they get me to that point, they used the police to harass me and veil it under a welfare check. And that wasn't even the worst of it. The first call was fine. I wasn't upset with the first call, but then they came back and they came back, even when I wasn't posting anything online about any of that, right? Then they filed a 7-page report with the county over from me, and they claimed that I was abusing my child. They also filed a report with CPS in my area, and CPS showed up at my house. So then the cops had to come and check in to see if I was abusing my son. And on a separate occasion, CPS showed up for the same reason. Honestly, when all this stuff came out about Creepshow art, it just triggered all of this. And I'm still dealing with it. I'm totally fine. But this is the frustrating part, is when I do try to share, people nitpick and they try to say that I'm being insincere, or they're trying to find some sort of hypocrisy. They're not actually listening to listen. They're listening to criticize. And if you're not here to listen and you're only here to listen to criticize, you're like, what's the point? You know, why would you bother listening to me sharing if you just want to criticize, right? It doesn't make sense. And when I'm speaking for myself, I'm only speaking for myself. Only. I'm not speaking for anyone else. So how can you help? Don't engage with these sources. If you're in these Reddits and you're a part of this, don't. They're using my name on that Reddit and on Facebook to harass me. And there is an open investigation with the FBI. So this is not like anything that is new. All I'm sharing is what I've gotten today, and I'm going to go back to my job and do my work and create my content. I'm not here to have drama. This isn't me having drama with anyone else. This is honestly, like, I'm just trying to share with you what's going on. I know you love my content, but part of my content is me. And that means sometimes I share what's happening to me. And given that she was doing this stuff to Emily and she was actively involved with my stalkers, you know, I hope other people share their stories. I'm not trying to diminish what Emily went through, because what Emily went through is horrible, terrible. But if she did it to Emily, she did it to a lot of people, a lot.
And also, to my knowledge, when you try to come across as being genuine and humble, you said how all these others like Sauls and Emily also experienced the fucked up shit that was done to your son in regard to images of CP. Your family is traumatized because of the dumb, fucked up shit that you do. Just because you and only you want to be right and want attention, because you still have not learned your lesson. And by now, the only time you will learn your lesson is when you have lost everything and it will be too late. Now, this is malicious as fuck and so false, and I quote, "The Wright County Sheriff has been incredible and helped my family from the chaos Emily D. Baker put into my life." I just showed you a clip which was on an Instagram live blaming a totally different group of people. Katie Joy, this is what swatting looks like. She goes ahead and calls Emily D. Baker trash. Wow. And even states that she has no remorse and enjoys going after women. I don't think Katie Joy has looked at herself in the mirror lately or listened to herself lately, because everything that I read here, it just bounces off of herself. If this is not defamation, then I don't know. No one can be this envious, jealous of another woman that turns into bitterness, hatefulness, resentment. This is just not normal. And somebody that you don't even know on a personal level. Then her next post. Emily D. Baker, a registered Republican, falsely accused me of crimes, told her audience I would be arrested, and then that audience made photos of my son on naked bodies. The FBI and UK police got involved over charges of P. She has never corrected or apologized. She also defended police that deleted Breonna Taylor. What does her political affiliation have to do with this or anything of that matter? And what I have been made aware of is Katie Joy is also listed as a Republican. I will actually try find the clip where Emily Baker is talking about the Breonna Taylor situation, and that is not what Emily said, but I will let you come to your own conclusion. And are you insinuating that Emily's audience made photos of your son on naked bodies? Because if that is what you are insinuating, that is completely false, Katie Joy, and totally fucked up. And remember, it was also done to Emily. And from where I sit, the only person that needs to apologize is you apologizing to Emily. Next post. For years, people have accused me of being jealous of Emily D. Baker. Hell no. That woman is trash. If she gets 10 million subs, my opinion won't change. She has never corrected her coverage of me, and she is not a lawyer in Tennessee. She is not practicing. She is a fraud, in my humble opinion. When people say you are jealous, Katie Joy, is because that is all your actions show. Why only attack Emily? You did not attack Nate, the lawyer. You did not attack Uncivil. You did not reach out to them to get a comment from your lawyer. You thought you could get Emily on your side, and unfortunately she peeped your bullshit and you could not manipulate her. And from covering you for quite a while, you do not handle rejection very well. And maybe that is something you should work on, especially when you claim to be a journalist/reporter. Why are you still harping on Emily not being a lawyer in Tennessee? That's her choice. She is a qualified lawyer. She has the credentials. She did her time in school for her to say she's a lawyer. She was a prosecutor in California. She obviously decided to have a change of careers, and that still does not take away from her being a qualified attorney. Get over it. Katie Joy cannot stand professional, successful, well-established, smart females. For someone that prides themselves on being an advocate, Katie Joy tends to do a lot of tearing down of other women, because she clearly claims that Emily D. Baker does it. No, she does that. You want to talk about being a fraud? Let's use Emily D. Baker. Have you seen Emily D. Baker act one way on one platform and another way on another platform? The fraud is you, because clearly, look at what you're posting now, opposed to look at you on YouTube every day, trying to act also composed, sincere, humble. You're none of those. All that on YouTube is just an act. You definitely have not done any self-reflection in quite a while, because Emily D. Baker has everything that you want and you cannot handle it. But from what I've seen, she has put in the time and the work. She networks. You don't even leave your home. She reports on things she is qualified to. Like you that's saying you're dismantling one cult at a time. Not one person can even come forward and take up for you or say what you've done for them. She is a professional, Katie Joy, unlike you, that will go on your Instagram and further trigger people and demonstrate, this is just one example, how you can digitally, to a child. Need I go on? Final post. By the way, I have only ever been officially sued in a court of law 3 times. 1 case was dismissed. One case settled due to my cross complaint and the imprisonment, Todd Chrisley. One is ongoing that will eventually be dismissed because I didn't defame anyone in my reporting. To my knowledge, the last time I counted, you were sued 5 times. Please correct me, you guys, if I get any of this wrong. Jilly Juice, apparently she filed in the wrong court. Steve McRae, the man, Katie Joy, that you accused of sexually harassing you, that when you were confronted about it, you said you couldn't remember if he just made you feel uncomfortable or he sexually harassed you. And then you went on to say, at least he didn't go to jail. Moving on, Tati Westbrook sued you for defamation and you ended up settling and ended up losing a lot, including throwing your source Clark Swanson under the bus to save your own ass, and now you are witness to the Westbrooks. Todd Chrisley, you settled with him too, and allegedly you didn't have the source you claim to have had. Now, 7M, remember you challenged them and said, if you sue me, everything comes out. Where's everything? Because it seems as though you are fighting against sharing what you claim to have. Or please feel free, anybody, to correct me if I'm wrong. As per usual, the next morning, these posts were removed because obviously she realized the mess that she made whilst under the influence. When is she going to stand in her truth? She should adopt a method of, if you have something on your heart, type it out, leave it alone maybe a few hours, and after those few hours, if you still feel that way, send it. Emily is too classy to address without a crystal ball. Like Emily says, lest we summon her. Everything Katie Joy posts about Emily is false, malicious, and in my humble opinion, a perfect defamation case. What makes one this resentful towards another human being that you don't even know on a personal level? Like I said, Katie Joy, in my opinion, is much more fucked up than I thought originally. She needs an intervention. One last thing, you guys, before I go. Remember Emily plugged the Without a Crystal Ball Reddit? Well, this was on Reddit, and all credit goes to the Without a Crystal Ball Reddit, to which it says, before I read it, please do not be eating or drinking because you could choke listening to this. It's a very small world. All right, you guys will never believe this, but I swear every word is true. I work at a retail outlet in northwestern Minnesota. A lot of people come up here to Lake Country for the Twin Cities area. Wouldn't you know, I waited on a gentleman wearing a Hanover, Minnesota shirt. I couldn't help myself. I had to ask, do you know the Paulsons? He looked at me and said, and I quote, it's a really small town. Well, we all know the Paulsons. They are the worst. Nobody in town likes them. I have never met a more self-important, entitled bitch in my life. I couldn't help but laugh. He just laughed and said, we all try to steer clear and let them live in their own delusional world. Made my day. Doesn't that sound like the Paulsons? It truly does sound like the Paulsons. And then it also makes me, or basically like gives me confirmation in thinking when Katie Joy was posting and doing all those manic posts about Donald Trump, because she did state that her whole neighborhoods are Republicans and support Donald Trump. So maybe she was doing all those postings knowing maybe her neighbors watch her channel or watch her post, just trying to agitate them. And has anybody thought about this? Why does Katie Joy resent her hometown? Why does Katie Joy not have any friends that have come and spoken up in her defense or, you know, participated in her channel? Why is she so resentful of where she's from? It just makes no sense. But if anybody does know Katie Joy Paulson, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. Maybe I'm missing something. But other than that, you guys, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to actually sit back and watch this video. I truly appreciate each and every one of you, and I mean that. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another, and don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.